Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Well, hello, I am back. I told you I would be. Like I said, I am going to be doing every other day for now because I am in the middle of getting a book published. So I do want to finish that. But on the other hand, a part of me, wanted to just stop doing this and concentrate on my writing. Another part of me thought, I've been through so much. I've studied so much. I've studied the Bible so much. I've studied false religions so much. I do have something to give. But instead of dwelling on the news all the time, I am going to dwell more on teaching because I see that a lot of us are all mixed up because there's so much going on. There is religiously and every other way. It's confusing, and it's confusing to me. So it helps me to focus my thoughts. And what we're going to be starting with tonight is the Kabbalah. It's probably going to be, I would say, probably 3 shows to cover it in its entirety. Why I'm starting with the Kabbalah is because it's the basis for all false doctrine. All false doctrine, all false religions, Freemasonry, all of that, and Judaism, we're going to find out, it's all based in the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is the exact opposite to following God. It's kind of like a kingdom upside down. And we're going to get into all this. Now, part of me was going to not do tonight, but I thought, no, I told them I'd have a show and I'm going to have a show. But this has taken me a heck of a lot longer than I thought that it would just to flesh all this out. So I hope and I pray that I'm able to communicate this in a way that you all will understand. And it's not that I'm thinking that you guys might not understand it because you're not smart or something. That's not why I'm saying that. I'm saying that because I'm not always the best communicator. So if you don't understand it, it's probably me not, explaining it properly. So if there's any problems that you have with this or any questions, ask. I will address, especially if it's not just an attack. If it's a legitimate question, I will answer it. So just want to let you guys know that. But we are going to start off with the Kabbalah. And let me tell you, there's a lot to the Kabbalah. I've heard people just give like a little whatever on it. Well, there are people that spend their entire lives studying the Kabbalah. I wouldn't recommend it because it is Jewish mysticism. It is Gnosticism. It is the occult. They are actually worshiping Lucifer, as we are going to get into here. So, but there's people that spend their entire lives studying this. So, anybody is not going to do it justice, is what I'm saying. I don't know how anybody could do it justice, but we got to understand some of the main tenets here, because this is where all the trans stuff is coming from. A lot of stuff. We're going to get into this, and hopefully this will whet your appetite for what's coming. Now, if you would rather me break this up and do one show on the Kabbalah, then do the second part, then do a new show, and then do the second part, and then a new show and the second part, let me know. I'm open. I just not really thrilled about dwelling too much on the news these days because we don't know what's true and what isn't. So anyway, I figured that I'd do something productive, and we will get into this and explaining this, and I'm going to go on from there and explain. Once we have the basis of the Kabbalah down, we're going to understand all the other false doctrines and false religions, and that is why I'm bringing it, because it's the most important thing to understand to keep from being deceived in these end days. So let's jump into it. And again, I just pray and I ask you, Lord, that you would help me to communicate this in a way that everyone is able to understand. I ask that you would untwist my tongue and give me the words to say. And Lord, if any words need to be coded, please bring that to my attention before I spit them out. All right, let's get into it. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Oh, that's not where I meant to hit on. I meant to go here, right here. Yeah, this. Okay. And let me see. I don't think I'm going to start right here because I don't think that is the best place to start. Okay. Hebrew theology. Now, where did the Kabbalah come from? Well, it's been around since between 50 and 60 years after the birth of Christ, or after the death of Christ, rather. It's very detailed. It is mysticism. It is not what we considered the Pentateuch, which is the first 5 books of the Bible that were given to Moses. It is not that. Some people believe the Torah is just the Pentateuch. It really isn't. And the Talmud is nothing of the sort. In fact, it says horrible things about Jesus in the Talmud. And the Talmud came because the Babylonians went into exile, or not the Babylonians, but the Israelites went into exile in Babylon. There, a lot of mysticism and so forth seeped into their writings. Those oral traditions were passed down, and this became the basis for the Kabbalah. So back then, now, what we have to understand is that Judaism is not Christianity in no way, shape, or form. And I know, please don't go off on me until you've heard me out about everything. We are going to get into Israel. We're going to get into who the Jews are. We're going to get into all of that. But I've got to lay a foundation. So please don't cut my head off until you've heard what I had to say. Hebrew theology, according to the Kabbalah, was divided into 3 distinct parts. The first was the law. Now, the law was given to Moses, but they changed this up a bit. The second was the soul of the law. That's not a biblical concept, so don't look in the Bible for it. And the third was the soul of the law. So they believe Judaism, the Talmud, the Kabbalah, they believe that Hebrew theology was divided into these 3 distinct parts. The law, the soul of the law, the soul of the law. According to the Kabbalah, the soul of the law, often referred to as Nesama or Neshama, not sure if I'm pronouncing those correct, of the Torah, is the Kabbalah itself. So the soul of the law is the Kabbalah, which they believe that Hebrew law is first. It's first the law, then the second is the soul of the law. But the soul of the law, that is the Kabbalah. That's what they follow. The hidden is the Kabbalah itself, the secret hidden wisdom of the Torah. While the literal law, the Torah, acts as the body, and the Mishnah, the Talmud, acts as the soul, the Kabbalah reveals the innermost divine mysteries, intentions, and spiritual mechanisms behind the commandments. Now, none of that is scriptural, but that is what they believe. That is what Judaism teaches. So, the Torah is the Kabbalah itself. It is the secret hidden wisdom of the Torah, and it's coded so that those who study it know how to interpret it. But of course, it is Gnosticism, it's mysticism, it is the occult, it is Luciferian in its origin. Let's continue. The law was taught to all the children of Israel, and the neshama, which is the soul of the law, the Torah. So that the law was taught along with the Torah, which is the Kabbalah. The what do they call it? The neshama of the Torah, the Kabbalah. So this was taught to all the children of Israel, or the soul of the law was revealed to the rabbis and teachers, but the Kabbalah So they learned about the law and the soul of the law, but the Kabbalah was reserved. The soul of the law was cunningly concealed, and only the highest initiate among the Jews were instructed in its secret principles. Now, this is important because there is no secrets in God. He doesn't have any secrets that you have to, it's all pretty plain and pretty simple. A child could, a child could understand salvation, but they have added all this stuff to it. So anyway, yeah, the Kabbalah was reserved for the highest initiates. And that's the way it was in the cult that I was in. You didn't really know you were in a cult until you were very, very high up. And then you realized, ooh, yeah, I'm in a Luciferian cult that believes very much like the Kabbalah does, because the Kabbalah is the basis of all false doctrine, all false religion. Let's go on. According to Jewish mysticism, Moses ascended. Now, this is according to Jewish mysticism, not the Bible. Moses ascended Mount Sinai 3 times, remaining in the presence of God 40 days each time. During the first 40 days, the tables of the written law were delivered to, or by the prophet, it should say. Delivered by the prophet to the people. Remember, he went up, God wrote on the tablets, he came down. During the second 40 days, he received the soul of the law. And during the last 40 days, there were no 3 40-day periods of Moses on Mount Sinai. But they just make it up as they go, I guess. During the second 40 days, he received the soul of the law. And during the last 40 days, God instructed him in the mysteries of the soul of the law, which is the Kabbalah, mysticism, occultism. So, he received the soul of the law, and Moses concealed the soul of the law, the Kabbalah, in the first 4 books of the Pentateuch, the secret instructions that God had given him. That is a flat out lie. God does not give Moses secret instructions. He gave Moses the 10 Commandments, which was the law. That was the law of God, and in the Old Testament. So for centuries, students of Kabbalism have sorted, what the heck was I doing when I was writing this? For centuries, students of Kabbalism were steeped in the secret doctrine They were steeped in the secret doctrine of Israel, as the spiritual nature of man is concealed in his physical body, so the unwritten law. That's what they believe. They believe that our spiritual nature is concealed within our physical body, which that's true, but so is the unwritten law. They believe the Mishnah and the Kabbalah. So the Mishnah is what is that? Is that the Torah? Let me see. I can't remember now. See, some of this is new to me too. A lot of it isn't, but some of it is. So let's look up here because we want to be correct. I think, can't remember now. It's the first major written compilation of the Jewish oral law known as the Oral Torah, redacted by Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, Judah the Prince, around 200 BC or CE, in the aftermath of the destruction of the Second Temple. So it is the oral tradition of the Torah. And like all oral traditions, can we trust that? I don't know, but that is all right. They believe the Mishnah and the Kabbalah is concealed within written teachings of the Mosaic Code. Is it? No. God doesn't hide anything. He makes it all plain. There are no hidden mysteries of the gospel. They have all been made manifest. They are all able to be, God doesn't have secret societies and all these secrets and, oh, if you learn how to do this, you'll have the power to do this. Just like a lot of the Christian what do you call it? Conventions and so forth, a lot of the Christian conventions, oh, learn the secrets of the kingdom and blah, blah, blah. There are no secrets of the kingdom. It's all in the Bible, and all you have to do is read it. So they believe that the Mishnah and the Kabbalah is concealed within the written teachings of the Mosaic Code. Kabbalah means the secret or hidden tradition, the unwritten law. And according to an early rabbi, it was delivered to man in order that through the aid of its truth principles, he might learn to understand the mystery of both the universe about him and the universe within him. So, the origin of Kabbalism is a legitimate subject of controversy. Early initiates of the Cabalistic mysteries believe that its principles were first taught by God to a school of his angels before the fall of man. The angels later communicated these secrets to Adam, so that through the knowledge gained from an understanding of its principles, fallen humanity might regain its lost state. Yes, regain its lost state. How? Through gnosis, through Gnosticism, through mysticism, through the occult. They believe that if you look at the top of the tree of life, all the Sephiroth and stuff, that is Lucifer that is at the top. They believe that is the tree of life, and they believe that those Sephiroth, they are all the gods that were sent into that space. Because remember, Ein Sof is a god who is distant. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't want to communicate with us. He has no eyes or ears or anything else. That's their god, Ein Sof, and Ein Sof had to fill the space in between him and us with all these false deities, the Seraph. So that is what they believe, that these angels came to teach men. Well, these were fallen angels. They were Nephilim. They were the hybrids. And yes, they taught things that were never intended to be taught. But, the opening was when sin entered the world. So they believe that that the principles of the Kabbalah, or the Cabalistic principles, were first taught by God to a school of his angels. So he taught his angels because he doesn't care. He doesn't want to communicate with us. So he taught his angels, who later communicated these secrets to Adam, so that that through the knowledge gained from an understanding, and of course that's what Lucifer always gives you. It's the light of knowledge, the light of illumination. It's not the light of Scripture. It's not the light of Christ. That's why the Bible says that be careful lest the light within you be not darkness. What did he mean by that? Well, there is a dark light, and Kabbalism, that's what they follow. So, who taught Adam? Well, according to the Kabbalah, it was the angel Raziel. I don't even know if there is an angel Raziel in the Bible. Let's see. I don't remember. But since we're learning, we might as well learn together, right? Yeah. Raziel is not mentioned in the canonical Bible, neither in the Old Testament or New Testament. Unlike archangels such as Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Raziel does not appear in Scripture. So they just made him up, I guess. So the angel Raziel. Well, let's take a look at who he is. In Jewish tradition, the primary angel who instructed Adam, particularly after the expulsion from Eden, was Raziel, known as the angel of secrets. Isn't that interesting? The angel of secrets and the keeper of divine knowledge. According to tradition, the book of Raziel, was given to Adam to teach him about God, wisdom, and how to find his way home. I'm sorry, does that sound like a biblical story to you? First of all, why would you need an angel of secrets? And why would this God, who doesn't care about man, doesn't want to communicate with him, doesn't have eyes or ears, why would he want to teach Adam the secrets and wanted to known as the angel of secrets and the keeper of divine knowledge? Yeah. Was this, obviously, I don't believe this even happened, but if it did, wasn't God. Definitely. Raziel delivered the book of Adam to teach him wisdom and understanding, enabling him to understand God, even after he was expelled for eating from the tree of knowledge. Raphael, some legends also mention the angel Raphael instructing Adam, often in the context of healing and secret wisdom. Michael, other narratives state the angel Michael was sent to teach Adam how to cultivate the ground and provide for his family. After the fall, the instruction, especially by Raziel, is described as an effort to keep Adam and Eve, help Adam and Eve understand their transgressions and provide repentance. Right. Again, all poppycock. Poppycock. Adam was not given this knowledge. Now, it was passed down to some of his descendants, some of this forbidden knowledge. That's how we get all our false religions, our false doctrines, our false gods. That's where it all came from these fallen angels. So let's go on. And Raziel was dispatched from heaven to instruct Adam in the mysteries of the Kabbalah. Different angels were employed to initiate the succeeding patriarchs in this difficult science. Michael was the teacher of Shem, Raphael of Isaac, Metatron of Moses, and Michael of David. Now, of course, this is all poppycock. None of this is in the Bible. You know, it passed over to Noah and then to Abraham, the friend of God. And Abraham in the Bible was indeed called the friend of God, who immigrated with it to Egypt. Now, Abraham was from the de Chaldees, so he was from a very, very wicked area that was very much into the occult and worship of false deities and so forth. And he went to, where are we here? Yeah, when he went to Egypt, remember the whole story of his son saving them because his son had been sold into a pit, Joseph with his many colors, and his brothers were jealous of him. They threw him in a pit and he was sold to the Babylonians. So he remained in captivity there, but he was given great favor by God, and he was placed in charge of Pharaoh's granaries and everything. So he literally saved his family's life. But this is how Abraham and his family got to Babylon, which was exceedingly occultish, full of mysticism, Gnosticism, and who knows what else. So now, according to the people, the Kabbalists, they believe that that when the patriarch went to Egypt, some of this mysterious doctrine oozed out. It was in this way that the Egyptians obtained some knowledge of it, and the other Eastern nations could introduce it into their philosophical systems. Now, I don't happen to believe that at all. Abraham was a godly man. He did not worship idols. He did not worship false gods or false deities. So I do not believe this. But of course, occult mysticism is going to spread because it's not coming from one person or two people. It's coming from, a spiritual realm, these fallen angels. Moses, who was learned in all the wisdom of Egypt, and he was, because remember, Moses was found in the basket. He was to be killed but he was saved because Pharaoh's daughter found him floating in a basket, knew that it was a Hebrew child that would be surely killed, and she brought it home. And he literally grew up to be the savior of his people. Okay, so Moses, who has learned in all the wisdom of Egypt, was first initiated into it in the land of his birth, but became most proficient in it during his wanderings in the wilderness. Don't believe that. Automatically goes against everything the Bible teaches. When he not only devoted to it the leisure hours of the whole 40 years, but received lessons in it from one of the angels. Again, none of this is in the Bible. None of this, it goes completely against everything the Bible teaches. Moses also initiated the 70 elders into the secret of this doctrine. Not a chance did that happen. They're saying that the 70 elders of Israel, when Israel was fleeing Egypt through the desert, that he initiated the 70 elders into the secrets of this doctrine. Not a chance did that happen. This is complete and utter false doctrine and the complete opposite of biblical Christianity. Kabbalah is at the root of every false doctrine, every deception, every false god, and every terrible thing on this planet. It is at the heart of every false religion and Freemasonry. We'll talk about a few of these. It's at the heart of philosophy, Freemasonry, witchcraft, Satanism, Mormonism, Scientology, New Apostolic Reformation, Seven Mountain Mandate, Dominionism, Apostolic and Prophetic Movement. All of them come from the Kabbalah, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I missed. A lot more. Albert Pike, the former sovereign commander of Jewish Rite Freemasonry, the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is widely considered the largest and most widely practiced Masonic rite in the world. It is active in most countries where regular Freemasonry is practiced, with a particularly high membership density in North America, South America, and parts of Europe. There is estimated to be 4 to 5 million people throughout the world. I think there's probably a lot more than that, personally. But who am I? The U.S. was built as the foundation of Freemasonry, according to Albert Pike, in the book Morals and Dogma. That book is the most important book to Freemasons. They all have read it. It's a very large book. I think it's 1,100 pages long. So I wouldn't just sit down and read it for fun. All right. The book is so important that all the modern Masons at the top level of 33 degree, they've all read this. They all know of Albert Pike, and there's been thousands of articles written about him. He is the sovereign grand commander, or was rather. He is the one who streamlined and wrote the 33 rituals. There's 33 rituals when you get up to the 33rd degree Mason. He wrote the rituals. They already existed, but he added some material. The god of Cabalists. Now, this is interesting. The god of the Kabbalists is Ein Sof. That is what Judaism calls God, Ein Sof. He is he's incommunicable. He's the only one who nobody really knows his name, but they call him Ein Sof. According to Kabbalists, nobody has ever talked to God. Nobody's ever seen God. So this is the God. Like I said, he doesn't talk to you. He doesn't care about you. He's an unseen God. He doesn't have ears, no eyes. Ein Sof is also known as Ein, meaning nothingness. So above the Ein Sof, there is this Ayn Sof, which means nothingness. Now, I don't know how you reach the nothingness, and I don't really want to know. If I'm going to strive for anything, it's not going to be for nothingness. So how interesting that the Kabbalists have a God they cannot communicate with. The Kabbalah is a system of magic in which you can communicate, possibly with all these lesser gods and goddesses, but not with God himself. What kind of a religion is that? Let's take a look here. Ein Sof, also spelled E-Y-N Sof or A-Y-N Sof, Hebrew, means unending, no end, infinity. It's a central concept in Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, that represents God before any self-manifestation. It is understood as the ultimate, unknowable, divine essence existing prior to the creation of any spiritual or physical realm. Now, you know, they get part of that right. God's always existed, but not this person, an unknowable divine essence. Well, if he's so unknowable, why did he send his son to save us if he didn't care? Key characteristics of Ein Sof, the infinite Godhead. Ein Sof represents the limitlessness of God, often referred to as the endless one or the nameless being. Total transcendence, it is completely beyond human understanding, thought, or definition, often described as absolute nothingness or divine void because it transcends all existing things. Oh, good. Yeah, I want to worship the absolute nothingness. No, actually, I don't. Source of emanation, Ein Sof is the original, or is the origin of the 10 Sephirot, which are the energy emanations of the Cabalistic tree of life that facilitate the creation of the universe. This is what they believe. Because it is absolute and infinite, no positive attribute, wise, merciful, can be assigned to it, as this would limit its essence. So this God, you can't assign any attributes to him. You can't call him wise or merciful or all-knowing or anything else, because that would limit his essence, according to the Kabbalists. Or Ein Sof means infinite light. This is the divine light that radiates from the Ein Sof before creation. Oh yeah, how do I pronounce that? Titsuum. I know the correct pronunciation, but it's contraction. In Lurianic Kabbalah, the first act of creation involved the self-withdrawal or contraction of the Ein Sof, which created an empty space or void for the finite universe to exist. So yeah, because he's so distant and whatever, he created this space and it got filled up with lesser gods and goddesses. The Zohar sometimes reduces the term to ayin, non-existent, to indicate that God so transcends human understanding as to be practically non-existent. Okay. In Hasidic thought, the term Atmos is often used to describe the divine essence, which is considered higher or deeper than the limitness of the Ein Sof. So Kabbalah, it is the ultimate reality, so they believe, with the Sephirot serving as vessels or garments that filter the light of the Ein Sof to enable creation to exist. Modern Hebrew, in contemporary Israel, Ein Sof is often used simply to mean infinity. The concept of Ein Sof emphasized that God is not just a being, but the very essence of existence, which is beyond all limitations. And of course, we believe that. We believe that God is beyond time, matter, space, but we don't believe that he is unknowable, unreachable, and uncaring. All right. So, how interesting that the Kabbalists have a God they cannot communicate with. Okay, we did that. He doesn't want to communicate with man directly, so he keeps man at a distance, which has created a vast space between himself and us. These inferior gods and goddesses filled that space. Let's see Ein Sof. Let's just see where it's at here. Okay, here's a picture of the tree of life. It's the serpent Leviathan. The god called Leviathan or Lucifer is shown at the top of the tree of life. Now, I could not find the exact picture that they were referring to, so I did find this. Now, this is the Ein Sof, the crowned Kether. That is the Ein Sof. And then this is the Cabalistic tree of life. This is not speaking against it. I just wanted to show you the picture there. But at the top of it is the Ein Sof. This is the tree of life, and the holy serpent resides within it. That's why the serpent, like, what do they call that? Some of the Christian churches were teaching this, where it comes up from your spine and goes up to your head. I'm going to have to, my memory fails me. Okay. They say the entire universe is this tree of life, and it's somewhere there there are two worlds within this. Okay, so I wrote this quickly, obviously. There are two worlds within this overall universe. There's a lower world. In the upper world, as a non-divine man, you're the lower world. So we are the lower world, and the upper world have a number of gods and goddesses. They're all sparks of light created by Ein Sof, because he did not want to talk with you directly or communicate with you. So these are the gods that, it's just like the Catholic Church, where you always have to have a mediator. You can't just go to God directly, like the Word of God says we can do, through Jesus. This is written by the Jews and has been around from about 50 to 60 years after Jesus' death. Hundreds of years of Kabbalah existed. Everything good on earth is the exact opposite of Kabbalism. Jesus is our only way to heaven, and Kabbalism is the opposite of Jesus. It is the worship of Lucifer. It is an ancient coded system of belief, philosophy, cosmology, and most importantly, it's a discipline of ceremonial magic. It is vital to understand that Kabbalah, not Kamala, but Cabala, is the antithesis to biblical Christianity and fundamentally opposes Jesus Christ. The God of Kabbalah is the one world beast system. Albert Pike was a grand high Kabbalist. Kabbalah is the cornerstone of Freemasonry and the false Masonic religion. Kabbalah is Satan worship, and we have been through that before. The black cube and Satanism, I'm going to have to revisit that again if you want me to. If you all got it, then great. But I get into the worship of Saturn and how it's being worshipped and what it looks like, and how many of the major religions are actually worshiping Saturn. So I showed you this picture. Specifically in the form of Jewish, or the result of this demonic campaign has been a departure from the faith, as many Christians are now looking to the wisdom of the rabbi for answers to their spiritual questions, like the Gnostics, the secret knowledge as a path to immortality mingled with biblical terminology. Drives me crazy. I just do it quickly and then it's all full of errors. The secrets are subtly presented as a means of discovering hidden destiny and as a way to becoming more like God, even as mystical teachings are being covertly brought into the church. Not so covertly. Not so covertly. They're pretty open now. And by the way, I want to let you know, some of this information I got from Tex Mars, some of this information I got from all over, but also there is a person on YouTube, and I want to give credit where credit is due. He does fantastic work. His name is Ben Born Again, B-E-N. His name is Ben, and it's Ben Born Again. He does a lot of stuff on Kabbalah, Freemasonry, all sorts of stuff, and he's good. So I just wanted to call him out. What is more astonishing is that rabbis are openly proclaiming Kabbalah as the only salvation of the world, and that this salvation can only be brought about by a global adherence to the law. Which law? Which law is that? Noahide laws. And if you are a Christian and you worship Jesus, you will be beheaded, because in the Noahide laws, worshiping any other god but the God of the Kabbalah, we'll get into it. We need to uncover the deception by giving a detailed description of what Kabbalah is, equip believers to recognize it and its more Christian-sounding doctrines. It will also demonstrate that the God of today's Babylon and Kabbalistic Judaism is not the God of the Bible, and that the current convergence of Christians coming under the authority will bring them not to the one true God of the Bible, but to the subservience of the God of Kabbalah. Ein Sof and its hierarchy of gods show that the God of Kabbalah is none other than Lucifer, the serpent and angel of light. This stage in prophecy will restore knowledge to humanity on a global scale, just like he did in Genesis. That's what they believe. And of course, Lucifer, isn't he the knowledge bringer? The gnosis, the secret knowledge, the illumination. That's why they're called the Illuminati. They're Luciferians. So they want to restore knowledge to humanity on a global scale, just like in Genesis. The philosophy and the doctrine of the Kabbalah is the foundation of the Illuminati. It is the cornerstone of Freemason and all secret societies, as well as the new Gnostic, Luciferian, and Babylonian mystery religion. The ruling elites are all high Kabbalists. Jonathan Cahn, Helen Blavatsky, mother of New Age. She is the mother of New Age Kabbalism, Skull and Bones. Why did I spell skull like that? No. Skull and Bones, Alice Bailey, Externalization of the Hierarchy, Ascended Masters, New Age, Kabbalah, Golden Age of Aquarius, Marina Abramovic, New Age Kabbalah, the Galactic Federation, The End of Global Poverty, Trust the Plan, all under Kabbalism. Yes, even Q. Saint Germain is actually Lucifer. Darby, Herzl, Schofield, these were men who are really responsible for end-time eschatology that we have today. And they were followers of the Kabbalah, which is extremely, the Schofield Bible, my gosh, everyone used to use that. And Darby and Herzl, and these were Christian men, but they followed the Kabbalah, and Christian Zionism is also Kabbalah focused, eschatology, New Apostolic Reformation, Christian nationalism. It's all Kabbalah, mysticism, and eschatology. Eschatology is the study of the last days, in case anybody is not familiar with that word. New Apostolic Reformation, Christian nationalism, Kabbalah, mysticism, and eschatology, prosperity gospel, word of faith movement, equals Kabbalah mysticism, initiating Christians into Kabbalah mysticism. I gotta slow down when I'm writing. People like Joel Osteen, Paula White, Jim Baker, Benny Hinn, Kenneth Copeland, and there's lots and lots others. Lots. Jared Kushner, Madonna, Tucker Carlson. They're all followers of the Kabbalah. Hebrew roots and sacred name movement is a Kabbalist agenda to rebuke and destroy the name of Jesus. His name is not Yeshua, and we're going to get into that, but not today. His name is Jesus. They say, but there was no J back then. There was no J. No, but they had two letters that together sound like J. That's where they get Jesus. I only say that because I cannot tell you how many people say, no, his name is Yeshua. No, it is not. It's not. Anyway, we're going to get into that. I'm going to prove everything I say. So don't jump on me and start, stabbing my eyes out, ripping out my spleen or anything, okay? We're going to explain all of this. Not all today. I'm just getting the introduction. Okay. Hebrew roots cult is the return of the Pharisees. Kabbalah's occult. The new Hebrew is two languages. I don't know if you knew this, but Hebrew ceased to exist. Now they took bits of old Hebrew and they made a new language. So the New Hebrew is comprised of 2 languages, plagiarized Babylonian Aramaic. The cult of Kabbalah worships the 7 Noahide laws. Yes, they do. And I'm telling you, this is something that we need to be really, really on guard over, because, oh, what difference does it make? According to the Noahide laws, worshiping Jesus is adultery and punishable by beheading. It's interesting because I knew somebody that used to tell me about all these guillotines that were at U.S. bases. And I've heard it for so long that I happen to believe it. But anyway, we'll get to that. Donald Trump is a champion of the Noahide laws. March 26, 1991, on Education Day, George H.W. Bush signed Public Law 102-14, 102D, Congress, First Session, HG Res 104. It established the 7 Noahide laws as a supreme law of the land, and every president since has re-signed it. Political Zionist George H.W. Bush was a Kabbalist. Barack Obama is one as well. Prince William is a Kabbalist, along with Hillary Clinton, Dick Cheney, Jared Kushner, Ivana Trump, George W. Bush, Ron DeSantis, Tucker Carlson, Ian Carroll, Madonna, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Kabbalah is Lucifer's religion and roadmap to the beast system. Specifically, as a result of this demonic campaign, there's been a departure from the faith, as many Christians are now looking to the wisdom of the rabbi for answers. I think we already read this, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, the true God of, okay, where are we now? Ein Sof, okay, the God of the Kabbalah, sorry guys, the God of the Kabbalah is none other than Lucifer, the serpent, and angel of light. Kabbalists want to restore knowledge to humanity on a global scale, just as he did in Genesis. We've already looked at this. So let's go on to this. Aleister Crowley founded the religion of Thelema in the early century. He called himself the most wicked man in the world, as well as the beast of the book of Revelation in the Bible. Aleister Crowley's Babylon ritual, performed by the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, and jet engine scientist Jack Parsons, who intense ceremony performed for months, from January through March 1946, near the future site of what would become Area 51. Aleister Crowley's black magic is practiced heavily within the modern music industry, as we all know. He's on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band album. Evidence of Kabbalistic witchcraft permeates the Beatles' music and artwork. Beyonce, Jay-Z have Aleister Crowley on their clothing line. David Bowie, Aleister and the lyrics, Ozzy Osbourne tribute with the whole song titled Mr. Crowley. Page, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, was heavily influenced by Crowley's teaching, and he even owned a house that was previously occupied by Crowley. It was also printed on one of Led Zeppelin's vinyl albums. Since medieval times, the Jewish people have been considered a race of magicians. The biblical rabbi used shaman-type techniques, is basically what, I don't know why shaman-type techniques to induce altered states of consciousness. They would be fasting, fragile, and they'd bury oneself up to the neck. All techniques used to prepare the rabbi magician for a battle through the 7 portals of the Cabalistic tree of life. Where they would eventually meet the supreme in a realm called the collection of the transcribed. They would easily meet the supreme in a realm called, I think I missed something here, described transcribed by Rabbi Isaac in the south of France during the 12th century for the first time in 6-year ancient magical technique, invoking fallen demonic angels and killing someone using the evil eye, fell into a group of nine, became inspired, inspired a whole bunch of the black magic cults, and Freemasons were also called lights, where the so-called lights became, okay, I don't know. This is probably where I left off because none of it makes sense. So anyway, we are going to get into more and more of this. I'm going to try and find the rest of some of these pictures that I have. There's a lot of this, and it's going to take me a long time to get through it all. And please let me know, are you getting anything out of this? Are you learning anything? Does it just bring up more questions? So let me just see here. I had some pictures down here somewhere. Way, way, way down here. See, I've got a long way to go on this. A long, 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 long way. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to show you this. Let me see here. Make it a little bit smaller so it'll fit. Yeah, this is Star of Remphan. The Star of David is not the Star of David. It never was. It's the Star of Remphan, and it's occultic, and it's also the black cube of Saturn. See, here is the Star of David, they call it. It is the Star of Remphan, and what is in the middle is a cube, and interesting, this is the black cube of Saturn. 6-pointed star, 6 triangles at 60 degrees angles, 6-sided hexagram. This is the worship of Saturn. And Donald J. Trump, champion of Noahide laws. During his almost 4 years in office, Donald Trump has been the greatest supporter of Noahide laws in U.S. history. That's not good news, not knowing what we know. All right, and now I'm trying to give an overview, and then I'm going to go in depth into some of these things like the Noahide laws and so forth. But in order to understand all of this, the foundation is Kabbalah, and we have to understand that. And modern Judaism is not what the Jews of the Bible practiced at all. It's not. So, and we're going to get into all that. Who are the Jews? What is a Zionist? What is the difference? We're going to get into all that. March 26, 1981, Education Day, USA, George H.W. Bush signed Public Law 102-14, 102D, Congress, first session, HJ, Res 104, established the Talmud's 7 Noahide laws as the supreme law of the land. And every president since has signed it. Everyone. Yeah, and this is interesting. Yeah, all Masonic associations owe Cabala their secrets and their symbols. That, according to Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma, 33-degree Freemason. All Masonic associations owe Cabala their secrets and their symbols. And this is, let me see here, come on. There we go. Make this a little bit smaller. Ordo Templi Orientis. This is the sign of that. And I hate to tell you that this is not a Christian sign at all. The dove pointing downward is the, it's sexual. In Oto rituals, Aramoth is often invoked as a symbol of the primordial waters connected to the mysteries of birth and creation. So that right there that we see everybody doing, that is the sign of Aramoth. Let's look that up because we can. Oh, I've given my cats food. They've had food. They've been played with. They've had fresh water. They've just had treats, and they're meowing out there like, ah. They have such a hard life. Such a hard life. Okay, Aramoth. Is that it? No, that's not the right. Aramoth. Aramoth. Is that right? I mean, I want us to understand this. And, okay, it's a ritual gesture used within the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a late 19th century occult society based on the Kabbalah, like all of them. It corresponds to the 3 degrees to 8 degree grade and is associated with the element water and the Sephirah Hod in the Cabalistic tree of life. Associated meaning, goddess Aramoth is linked to Mut, Mot, or Maut, an ancient Egyptian mother goddess associated with the sky, creation, and protection. The sign is used in ceremonial magic to invoke the qualities of water, emotional depth, intuition, and spiritual flow. It is also known as the sign of the water and is part of a system of ritual gestures tied to specific grades and spiritual correspondences in the Golden Dawn tradition. The sign is described in Aleister Crowley's writing, particularly in the Equinox and Magic in Theory and Practice, where he notes it imitates a hieroglyph with only a remote connection to the natural actions, emphasizing its symbolic and meditative function. Whatever that means. I mean, I understand and I don't understand. Let's put it that way. All right, let's go back here, see what else, if I have anything else here. Oh yes, and according to the Kabbalah, and according to Jewish Judaism, there are, this is interesting, there are 8 different sexual orientations. Zakar is male, Nakeva is female, androgynous, having both male and female, Tumtum, lacking sexual characteristics. It's an interesting name, Tumtum. Alonit Hammock, it identified female at birth, but later has male characteristics. Alonit Adam, identified female at birth, but later developed through human intervention. So that's male at birth, but later becomes male through human intervention. Saris Hammock, identified male at birth, but later naturally has female characteristics. Alonit Hammock, identified female at birth, but later naturally has male characteristics. And Alonit Adam, identified female at birth, but later develops male characteristics through human intervention and identified, yeah. So all these different things, according to Judaism, all these different, interesting. Now, let's take a look at this. We're wrapping up for tonight anyway. Gentile, that's us. All non-Jewish humans, which they believe are shells of darkness, must be destroyed. This is Kabbalah, straight up Kabbalah. Be destroyed for the Tikkun Olam to repair the world. That is what they believe. The Tikkun Olam is, and we're going to get into that tomorrow, so don't worry about it right now. But other names for Gentiles in the Kabbalah: Goy, Esau, Amalek, Goyim, Esavi, Amalekites, Edom, Edomites, idol worshippers, Christians. So we are called idol worshippers because we worship Jesus. Kabbalists use the code names to describe all non-Jewish humans. And we're going to get into the Tikkun Olam tomorrow. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. There's a lot here. And okay. Kabbalah's code names for all non-Jews today, which are to be destroyed. Now, they believe that everyone that is not Jewish, not following the Kabbalah, is to be killed. And these are called Amalekites, Esau, Edom, Edomites, Goy, Goyim, idol worshippers. The names above include every other race and religion beside Jews on earth, especially Christians. The Noahide laws, idolater must be punished by death. Jesus, to them, is an idol. Beheading is the most humane form of capital punishment. The Sanhedrin courts will be reinstated by their Mashiach, who is the false Messiah, to enforce the Noahide laws in their new world order. Something to look forward to, I guess. I don't know. Kabbalah's code names. Okay, this is the same thing again, I believe. Just didn't want to, yeah. Yeah, it's basically the exact same thing. Okay, this is the Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam, according to the Kabbalah, it's Kabbalah vocabulary, and it's basically means repairing the world. Now, if you think we can repair the world aside from Jesus, I don't know, not working out too well. This is referring to the Jewish mission to manually set the stage, to manually, please pay attention to this because we are in this right now. Their mission to manually set the stage for the Jewish Messiah and their world to come. This mission includes many extreme and radical steps, one of which includes fixing humans and restoring them to their original androgynous form, straight out of the Kabbalah. Now, what is so dangerous about this? They believe that they have to set the stage for their Jewish Messiah. And how do they do that? By bringing about the circumstances that will make him appear. Well, we all know that that's not how it works. No man knoweth the day or the hour. Jesus will return, but let me tell you, it won't be because the Jews are making the world better and setting the stage for the Jewish Messiah. Kind of makes me wonder about this whole war. Is that what they're trying to do? Bring about the return of their Messiah? Because they in the U.S. started the war with Iran. I know, we'll get into all that. And don't start with, well, don't you think they have the right to exist? Well, yes, I do, but that's irrelevant to what I'm talking about now. We are starting with the Kabbalah, which is the basis of all false doctrine. It is the basic of modern Judaism. It's the basis of Freemasonry. It's the basis of the Seven Mountain Mandate. It's the basis of everything. And understanding it is critical because if you understand it, you'll be able to look at anything and say, oh, that's false doctrine. That's false. And that's what I want you to be able to do. If I can do that, well, then it'll be all worthwhile to me. And some of you can teach me as well. I know that I'm not the onlyest one. I know that there are other people smarter than me out there. So, I'm just trying to do my part. So, yeah, that is the Tikkun Olam. But we're going to get into a whole bunch more about this. And you guys, if you want to help guide this and tell me what you want to know, well, we'll take a look at it. Are you confused about who the Israelites really are, as most are? And you know what? I had to go back and look at what I believed as well. And I've come to a very different belief. Now, again, I'm not against Israel per se. Yes, they do have a right to exist, but it is false doctrine. They are not. They are of the synagogue of Satan. Most of them are following the Talmud, which is based in Cabala. If you ask Jews what they believe, really, I think you're going to be shocked. It's not what we're told they believe. So yes, Israel is in place for a reason. It does play a part, but yeah. I'm coming to some very different conclusions based on scripture. So we're going to take a look at all this. I hope, I don't know how long this has gone. Well, I guess I'm at the hour mark, so that's good. And I will probably, I won't be doing a show tomorrow. Like I said, I am really, really devoting myself to getting this book out because, well, it brings an income, and you know, it's a fiction book. So anyway, yeah. So I love you guys. I'm thankful that you're still here. Those of you that are sticking with me, I appreciate it. I really do. And I just, you know, it has really touched me how much you guys cared and how much you were worried about me. You know, I guess sometimes you don't realize how important you are to people, because I thought, oh yeah, they'll miss me, but they'll find someone else and whatever. But you really cared. You really worried about me. You know, somebody said, oh, we were going to come up to Canada and check on you. Boy, that would have been a party. What kept you? Anyway, I love you guys. I really do. You guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to work on getting rid of the infinity screen again. And yeah, we'll have some new stuff, and just let me know in the comments if there's things that you want to learn more about that you don't understand. And we all have things that we don't understand, including me. So it might be something that I don't understand, but I'll research it and find out. So that's going to be it. Love you guys. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, stay warm if you're up here. Stay warm and stay informed. And if you want, stay here. Yeah, I wish that I could have you all in my living room around the fireplace. I'd love that, but you know, you wouldn't fit. But this is the next best thing, I guess. So I'll see you in the next video. Good night, guys.